Hi there, welcome to the Justice for Johnny freight train. Toot toot! Who am I? I'm Johnny. And yes, I'm 73 years old, I'm nearly 74. And I'm doing this YouTube series, lots of episodes, because I want to help people navigate the language warning, shit sandwich that I'm currently consuming, and what's happened to my life for the last nearly 2 years. So I'm Johnny. My younger daughter said, "Dad, it's not all about you." I'm like, yes, it is. But everybody out there is going through this. I'm calling you Johnny. You're a generic Johnny. Basically, this series is going to be unscripted, from the heart, and I just want to help. If I can help one person, it's a success. Now, things aren't cheap to put together. There's a GoFundMe page you will find, and you can help me come on this journey. What is the journey? Let me explain. She, my wife and partner of 26 years, believe it or not, left me for a younger man. He was 2 years old at the time. It's her grandson in Cairns that after the husband buggered off when the kid was 6 months old, turned out to be autistic. So let's call her grandmum, has decided to make me collateral damage. She went to visit the daughter, and I got fired by text, which I thought only young people got fired by text. Hi, I'm not coming home. Please don't message me or call me. So I haven't, because 5 days later I received, well, this lady came walking down the driveway, and then I saw the cannon strapped to her thigh, and I thought, hello. And it was a police lady giving me a domestic violence order. Couldn't go within 50 metres of Cairns, or her in Cairns. And this silly woman she hadn't read it, didn't understand it, she was just delivering them. And it turned out I was supposed to be in the court the next morning at 9 o'clock. So I very quickly had to get legal representation to put a hold on that. So the domestic violence order was for coercive control. Kindly, grandmum put in there about point 8. I'm not concerned that John will come to Cairns and be physical with me, but I don't want him to come to Cairns and manipulate me into coming home. So that was something. But coercive control for financial and emotional abuse. She said, I wouldn't let her have a bank account. Well, that's a lie, because I found statements going back to 2006 with her name on it only. Mrs. A, and that account is still current. There's only 57 cents in it, but that account has been going on for a long time. And it was hers. We always had joint credit cards, joint bank account. I never had my own money, never had my own account. We just, look, I'm an accountant, so I can add up. I did, looked after the superannuation with investing, and basically, look, our age, what do you need? We just got a couple of $100 cash every month to spend on undies, socks, whatever, and other stuff we needed, we'd buy. We travelled the world, we had horses, race horses, we bred race horses, and you'd say we lived a pretty good lifestyle. Now, what is this all about? It's all about lack of trust. And look at me, I'm saying, I'm not angry. I'm really sad and disappointed at what's happened. I have not seen or heard from her since February 2023. In December 2022, after she came back from visiting the daughter in Cairns, I said to her that I would like to renew our vows in Italy in about September of 23, because I've got good friends in Austria who we'd like to meet up in Italy. We go there, and it would have been a lot of fun. Now, there was some tumbleweeds and crickets chirping, but I thought it was happy shock. She'd already was planning to go, because in January, a month later, we had a week together in Victoria. I was playing in a tennis tournament, and she kept saying, I want to make this the best week possible for you. I didn't realise that she really had switched off, because when we came back, she said, I'd like to sell up and go and live by myself. I was like, that point I collapsed and just thought, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I said, well, can we try counselling, blah, blah, blah. And she said yes, but at the same time she was planning her exit. It's exactly the same way she left her first husband in Tasmania. You're talking about a woman who had a horrible childhood and a horrible first marriage, and I thought me being Prince Charming would offer. She had 2 daughters, I've got 2 daughters, and I thought, well, I've got good form at being a dad. And as it turned out, unfortunately, my 2 girls have degrees and good jobs, whereas her 2 have made very unfortunate decisions in life. I mean, the 30-year-old younger daughter, at 30 she married a 21-year-old US serviceman and accidentally got pregnant, and oh yes, I want children, he said. And at 6 months old, this is during COVID, where they spent day and night together, I say he had enough of her. He said, I'm going back to mum and dad in Texas and I'll get you a green card and you can come over with me. Well, we haven't seen or heard from him since, have we? The elder daughter of hers, 3 children, 2 different dads, and has been on her own for some time. She actually started working when she was in her 30s, which was nice. Otherwise, before then, she was a carer for her grandmother. And when grandmother was handed over, there was no money in the account because she'd spent it all mostly on takeaways and entertaining, whatever. But at least she had a roof over her head and the kids were looked after. We lent them money, both money from time to time. But one of the things that came out was John would always lend us money, but it came with a lecture. Now, obviously they didn't listen because my 2 girls they're very budget conscious. They got big mortgages and they live carefully. Her 2, well, the younger one will be a carer for life with an autistic child. So grandmum has decided to move up there, and look, she said to me, if there's one person that shouldn't have gotten married, it was that daughter. There was one person that shouldn't have had children, it was that daughter. And mum always thought she was a better mother. She knew the questions to ask for all the support. He's on an NDIS package of $60,000 for 2 years. Very young to be awarded that, but good on him. And hopefully he'll make progress and she'll be able to look after them. Why she didn't come home, it's all about trust, or in her case, lack of trust. When she said she wanted to live by herself, she said to me, oh, you'll find somebody else. I was like, no. It's like, this is what women can't understand. I didn't lie for 26 years. I didn't have secrets for 26 years. I trusted her entirely for 26 years. Was not stupid. I was a silly old man in love, as I put it down to. And I'm a keeper. I thought she was too. Silly me said, I thought we were going to grow old together. Technically, I should have been older. Now, day after she said, this is how weird, day after she said she wanted to move out, she came to me and she said, look, if you go overseas, would you consider taking me as a friend? And I was like, are you nuts? Which we can say, well, 8 years ago, when she came out, she said she was suicidal and didn't want to be here anymore. As I said, she had a horrible childhood. We had a horse called Just Atina, and her name is Anita. Atina is Anita backwards. And her parents always said, she was a middle child and the second daughter. Oh, it's just Anita, it's just Anita. And that's what she grew up with. She wasn't important. Her father once gave her a bicycle for Christmas, but it had no wheels. And it sat there with no wheels, and she never got the wheels. She said the best present she ever got from her parents was a little 12-inch black and white TV so she could sit in her bedroom and watch TV with the door shut. It's pretty sad. First husband, well, he threatened to shoot her. And when he was away, she sold his rifles, so he couldn't shoot her, and she just planned her exit. Her life has been, shall we say, extremely difficult. When her mother died, the nursing home rang us up and they said, you better get down here quickly, she's on the going out. Well, we went down there, we opened up curtains, blinds, windows, and Sarah was like, she weighed about 28 kilos. She was a pixie. Grandma used to refer to her as Gollum. If you've seen Lord of the Rings, you'll know exactly how she looked. Very much like her, like Gollum. Anyway, we just sit there, hold her hand, talk to her, because she was drugged out and just breathing carefully. The funniest thing happened is that Sarah woke up. Sarah looked at me. She winked. She smiled. No teeth, they were in the jar. And then she put her head back down and went back to sleep. I was like, well, Grandmum / Anita went ballistic. How could she recognise you when I've done so much for her? She went ballistic. Anyway, I was like, oh, I liked her. I'm a Sagittarian, she was a Sagittarian. We had a lot of laughs. She was nice. She was very good to me. So anyway, that didn't go down well. But as I said, 8 years ago, she came out as suicidal. This last lot of evidence that her lawyer has written is saying that I didn't support her or help her in any way. It's like, well, what would you do if someone said that your partner said they're suicidal? So what did I do? I took her to doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, rheumatologists, pain management clinics, spinal surgeons to try and deal with chronic pain, whatever's in her head. And she ended up getting a disability pension. She tried for physical and she was rejected. You had to score 20 points on various categories. She didn't. She only got 16 points. She came home, she said, I'm going to get it for mental health. And there'll be more to come out with that. But she ended up being granted a disability support pension for mental health, which meant it was kind of handy in a way because I'd taken early retirement and I was using up all my superannuation, draining that, because we, as I said, we had racehorses, we travelled around the world, we lived quite well. We didn't have a lot of money. I get the age pension now because there's not much money in super. And I'm stuck in the house. Why am I stuck in the house? I'm a prisoner in my own house because I get pinged for coercive control. The original police prosecutor in Cairns, Natalie, a woman, said to her, you don't need a domestic violence order against this man. And my mum said, yes, I do, and I'll give evidence from a private room. My tennis buddy said, she's ashamed at what she's done. And she probably is. As I said, I haven't seen it. So this journey we're going to take, I got the domestic violence reduced. I agreed to no admittance orders, which means I didn't say there was anything, but I wouldn't do anything. Queensland is 5 years, so I got it reduced to 3 years. And it's halfway through, and I haven't done anything anyway, but I still want to get rid of that. I want to, phase 1, you're going to help me. You got to tell your friends, you got to like me, you got to do all this stuff. Phase 1 is I want to go into Queensland and sue that copper who at 9:30 on a Saturday night issued that temporary domestic violence order for coercive control. I'm 2,000 kilometres away. I rang him. It took me days to finally get hold of him and said, mate, what's going on? I told him the name, details. He said, where are you? I said, Central Coast. Where's that? I said, New South Wales. Where's that? Where? I said, between Sydney and Newcastle. Oh. Constable Plod says most of my respondents are in the watch house. That's literally how he spoke. Watch house being the lockup. I said, mate, I'm 2,000 kilometres away. What's the meaning of this domestic violence? He said, oh, I'll send you some phone numbers and some support there. And he hung up, and that was it. So I want to go to Cairns and sue him, and I'd really like him cleaning toilets when I finish with him, because that nearly killed me. To get the shame attached to that I've got family, my kids, my daughters, my granddaughters, and they have helped me get through. The best thing, everybody out there, tell people. I told my tennis buddies, and there's a bit of laughter. It was like, oh, well, a lot of us have done that, been there, and know the shit you're going through. So it was nice. I thanked them, one of the guys one night, for nice that everybody was talking to me and taking the time, spending the time, ring me up, make sure I'm okay. And tennis buddy Andrew said, mate, if we thought you're a dickhead, we wouldn't waste our time on you. And I thought, I teared up. I thought that was really nice. I am so lucky, I'm blessed. I survive with 3 Fs, family, friends and faith. Yeah, I go to church. I prayed to God one night, please help me. And what happened? Look at that. We'll get onto that. I said, God, something like that appeared in front of me, and I said, God, you overachieved. I won't complain, that's okay. Now what you should also know is, my son-in-law, wonderful, the best son-in-law ever, sent me this. I'm at that delusional age where everybody I see that's my age looks older than me. They are. That's good. It took me about 3 or 4 months. I was walking the dog till all the pennies fell into place. What this is all about. Her lack of trust. She's got a $600,000 life insurance policy that pays out on suicide. Because I'm 9 years older, so it was more expensive for me. Look, our wills are such that if she died first, her kids get 200 grand each. I die first, my kids get 200 grand each. What if I die first? She didn't trust me to not change my will, because the balance, then when that person dies, because we trusted each other, I thought, just gets divided by 4, less money paid out. Simple. The life insurance policy was to help me, and I was put on as a beneficiary. She said I weaseled my way onto that, mainly because if she died, they would pay out and I could pay her kids straight away money. As you remember I said, they really weren't working, they were on welfare. This would give them a good start. So that's what it's all about and what I'm trying to do. This phase 1, I want to go to, actually phase 1, I'm going to help me get through this. I've got a trial coming up in November 21-22. I think we're launching this about the 29th. We're just banking a couple of episodes just in case things happen, where I really feel I can help people. It's not a cooking show, please. I'm still alive, so something works. And the first month after she left, I lost 4.5 kilos. If you look at me, that's not a lot. I went down to 64 kilos, couldn't eat, felt sick. So I want to share with you how you get through this. I want to, phase 1 get through is to get me through my next step so I can get on to phase 2, which is go to Queensland, and I want to sue that police officer and the Queensland police for nearly killing me, like attempted manslaughter. She wouldn't be dead. It's easier to grieve someone who's dead. I've been pinged for coercive control. She is the one that's coercively controlling. I'm locked in the house. My bank account's been locked since March, where I topped up my pension. That's a super fund bank account. The email address I've used for 25 years, she had the Telstra account. I've been blocked out of that. My number plates I've had for 52 years were actually on her car, because she had the newer car. And they're locked up. They've been locked up for over a year. I can't get my number plates I've had for 52 years. There's just a whole range of things that she's done. I started making offers in March 2023. She has ignored everything. Why? I don't know, because she doesn't speak. She's got this, she's in Cairns, has a lawyer out of Victoria who's subcontracting to a Sydney law firm. Go figure. And they're always late with information. It's just if there's anything there. Her last demand, if we go to trial, she wants 60-40. She wants everything paid out as cash so she doesn't have to worry about superannuation. It's just bizarre. When I first met her, she was living in a granny flat in her parents' backyard because she'd left her husband a year or so earlier, and 2 years earlier, and she was living in the granny flat while she was working with her 2 kids. So, and she wants 60-40. I was like, well, I was a qualified accountant. She wasn't qualified to the same extent. Yes, we both worked. Look, I earned more, but that's just part of the nature of the beast, that it was for us. She doesn't have great communication skills, comes from a Dutch background. Her dad's English wasn't too good. So her communication skills have never been great. And that's what I've had to deal with. I used to say, I need to be a mind reader because you never really tell me what you want. And then, I can't wait to say this in court and she'll know it's coming. I say, we always did what you wanted to do. How's that? Well, I would suggest basically, let's go here, let's go there, let's do that. And if she was happy with it, she'd go along with it. If she didn't want to do something, she'd say, no, I don't want to do that, let's do this. And I go, okay. So she always got her own way. And therefore, we always did what she wanted to do. Logic. So this is going to be a survival show. Phase 1's looking after me. Phase 2 is going to Cairns and suing the police. Phase 3, I want to sue the bank. Which bank? That bank. For locking the bank account. They said dispute between parties. Why? It's a corporate account. Trustee of the super fund. There's not millions in there, but I used to top up my pension. And they should have unlocked it when they were ordered to. They refused. I want to see the council. I want to sue the councillor that we were seeing in Woi Woi, because while she was helping me with the fighting the court case, and that, she was also coaching Anita on how to get out of the relationship. She said, you're in a toxic relationship. She didn't understand, the counsellor didn't understand that Anita had limited communication skills, and that was the way she was. Anita lived by 2 creeds. One mainly was fake it till you make it, and that's what she grew up with. Just fake it till you make it, and just put up with everything, and just. I lived with Eeyore for 26 years, oh me, oh my. I was a silly old man in love, I said that already. But she caught her elder daughter lying to her a couple of years ago. And the elder daughter said, Mum, I only tell you what I think you want to hear. And Anita cottoned onto that. She said, that's great. She walked around for days thinking that's great, and she adopted that, I only tell you what I think you want to hear, which is sadly why lying comes so easily to her. I just never thought she'd lie to me. There you go, silly old man in love. As stupid was I. Now, I'm not angry. Why? I know what she's done and why she's doing it. That makes it easier. But I have channeled Reva Steenkamp's mother in South Africa. Oscar Pistorius shot her through the bedroom toilet door, wherever it was. And also that couple in Carlingford who lost a couple of kids to that drunken drug driver. Said literally the same thing. I'm not angry. I forgive entirely, because I won't let anger and bitterness and hatred eat me up and destroy my life. And I have to do that. What saved me was my almost 6-year-old granddaughter snuggling in one morning, we're just playing some games on an iPad. And this little voice says, I love you, Granddad. So, I said, I love you very much. And if that doesn't give you reason for being whatever, nothing will. So we're going to play a little game. This person here, that's a pictorial representation of a real person whose name is Alison. I've laminated Alison. Sweaty fingerprints all over it. I've laminated Alison. Alison was the owner of the kindest, most caring voice when I was down and out, and she threw me a lifeline. And unfortunately, she let go of her end all too soon. Very sad. So we're going to play a little game as we go on from episode to episode. Who is Alison? A little bit older than that, but not much. My helper in the kitchen. Now, the two women in my life these days both have 4 legs and a tail. One weighs 32 kilos and the other one's about 500. Yes, there's a horse in the backyard. The dog's mine, check with council. The horse, half owned each. And why am I a prisoner in the house? Because it was her therapy horse. She won't sign the horse over to me so I can rehome it. And she knows I won't hurt the horse. So horses are expensive to run. And I'm still here. I'm waiting for the trial to work out what horse is 21, not easy to rehome. But let's see how we go. So that's pretty much about what this show's going to be about. This is the boring stuff to start with, so don't give up. There's some pictorials, there's going to be some laughs. I started singing in the shower after about 8 months and I thought, I'm coming out the other end, just like a good poop. So the Justice for Johnny freight train is going to be a juggernaut. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. Jump on the bandwagon. Jump, look, donate to help me get through. I really want to go to Cairns and sue that policeman. It's a survival show, not a cooking show, but we'll have fun doing that. I'm going to get some, behind the camera, I've got my tech buddy, whose name, like the dentist from that ad years ago, we're not saying who he is. Just that he's got family and kids, so we don't, that's him. And he would be eating, he won't be cooking. I've got neighbour buddy Tim, he said he can do a roast lamb. Because I go to the club on a Saturday, just watch some races. I can stay at home, don't stay home, you get depressed. It's lonely. The dog doesn't talk much. I go to the club, and I got some club buddies down there. We all have a whinge and grizzle because a lot of them have been through similar things. Club buddy Rick, he's a genius. I'm going to get him to do homemade sausage rolls. Now, he gets gourmet sausages and puff pastry, and it's above my pay grade. I do easy stuff, but we'll get onto the harder stuff later. But he also does a beef Wellington, and right near the end, I'll get him to do something fancy, schmancy. So Rick can do a beef Wellington, but with the good mushrooms, not like those Victorian ones that killed all those people. So, just a couple of little cheat sheets. Before we finish up, you have to feed yourself and you have to distract yourself. If you're sick, you feel you're worried that the cop's going to turn up, blah, blah, blah. What do? You've got to distract yourself. I play a lot of games on an iPad. Now, I play Free Cell, Spider Solitaire. And it's quick, it's fast, it distracts me, stops my mind because your brain can't think of 2 things at once. Watching TV, you drift off and you start thinking how crap life is. So play some games, do that. Do not distract yourself while you're cooking. That's happened to me, and things get blackened very quickly. What's that smell? Oh, done. So you help yourself eating by distracting yourself. Back to, yep. When you go to bed at night, you need to distract you. That's a bad time for thinking bad thoughts. I have an app on my phone. It's called Calm. There's a bunch of them around. There's another one called Heart that I started off with, but Calm, subscription. Forget the meditation and the feel good and this sort of, because you don't. But they do have there sleep stories for adults. I think Beyonce or something did one that was a bit naughty. But there's sleep stories for adults. They're like train journeys, they're travel things, and there's people with really nice voices. And I say to people, I go to sleep with a different man or woman every night. Because these sleep stories go for about half an hour, and the idea is you can drift off and whatever. And if you're still awake, play another one. Do a bit of music. Just so your brain is not thinking the bad thoughts of what's happening to you. Okay, that's getting to, you can eat, but what are you eating? You need to audit the fridge. I'm an old accountant, you need to audit the fridge and the pantry. Now, if you're lucky, the other title of this show is You're Old, Your Wife's Buggered Off, How Do You Survive in the Kitchen? Hashtag the ugly other side of domestic violence. So we're going to survive in the kitchen. You need to audit your fridge and pantry. Your new friends will be use by dates. and if my tennis buddy Dennis is listening, he made a salad one night. I was up in Foster playing tennis, and he had some balsamic sauce and some French. And I looked at the French and I said, "Oh, it's a month out of date." "Oh, it's all right," he said. The balsamic was a year and a month out of date. I said, "Dennis, you're trying to kill me." He said, "Oh, it's only been opened a couple of times." Like, So I had pepper and salt. But he had the balsamic and he's still alive today. There you go. Use by dates. I look at them fairly carefully. The unit weights. It's another thing. You go to the shops, look at unit weights. Very easy to do. And I like lists. I have lists of jobs all over the table where I have breakfast, so I don't forget. I put them in my phone, put them on the calendar. You need to keep yourself busy. And that's why I play tennis. I go volunteering at a nursing home. I panic they won't let me out. "Don't you belong here?" "No." That's a bit of fun. I go to the club on a Saturday, and there's a lot of things to do around this property. And unfortunately, like I said, I can't really go anywhere that costs money because there's a lot of bills to pay. I'm living off fumes. I have borrowed off friends, family, and I just want this trial to get there. My latest offer was half of everything in cash. No answer, no reply. Well, we're going to trial. So that's where we're at. We're going to look at episode 2 is going to do some cooking. We are going to sex up a barbecue. How do you sex up a barbecue? Stay tuned for episode 2 and we'll be with you in a week's time. These are going to come out every week, possibly on a Friday, but they'll be on Instagram and whatever about when it's on. And you can like me, you can tell your friends, and find the GoFundMe and please, 5, 50, thousands, whatever you can afford, put in, and I'd appreciate it because I'm going to turn it all back in to helping other people. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in episode 2.